Welcome to our channel where we explore the great mysteries and complexities of history. Before we dive into the fascinating world of warfare strategy, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe for more insightful content. Today, we embark on a journey into the philosophies that have shaped warfare throughout history. We're going to delve into the minds of some of the greatest strategists the world has ever seen, and examine their unique perspectives on the nature of war. You may wonder why it's important to understand the philosophy behind warfare. After all, isn't war all about force and might? The reality is, war is more than just a physical act. It's a chess game played out on a global scale, with nations as pieces and leaders as players. The strategies employed and the decisions made are all influenced by deeply held philosophical beliefs. By understanding these philosophies, we can gain insight into the motivations behind the actions of those who wage war. We can begin to understand the reasons for their decisions, and perhaps gain a deeper understanding of our own world and its history. So, are you ready to delve into the fascinating world of warfare philosophy? Let's get started. Have you ever stopped to ponder what drives the thirst for power in warfare? What philosophical underpinnings guide the strategies of warfare? These questions may seem complex, but they are crucial if we are to comprehend the nature of warfare and its profound impact on human history. We live in a world shaped by the strategies and philosophies of past battles and wars. These philosophies, these strategies are more than just historical footnotes. They are the building blocks of nations, the catalysts of change, and the specters of human capacity for violence. The philosophies of warfare can help us to understand not just the how, but the why of human conflict. One might ask why it's significant to understand the philosophies behind warfare. Well, war is not just a physical act, it's an intellectual one. It's a chess game played on a global scale, where the pieces are nations, and the players are leaders armed with both military might and philosophical beliefs. The strategies they employ, the decisions they make, are all shaped by their philosophies. In understanding the philosophies of warfare, we can gain insight into the minds of those who wage war. We can begin to understand the motivations behind their actions, the reasons for their decisions, and perhaps gain a deeper understanding of our own world and its history. Throughout history, many philosophers and strategists have attempted to understand and articulate the nature of war. Among them, two stand out for their profound influence and contrasting views: Sun Tzu, the ancient Chinese military strategist, and Napoleon Bonaparte, the French general who became an emperor. Sun Tzu, with his emphasis on deception, indirect approaches, and the importance of understanding one's enemy, offers a philosophy of war as a game of minds. Napoleon, on the other hand, saw war as a game of wills, a test of resolve and resourcefulness, where victory belonged to the most determined. Two great strategists, Sun Tzu and Napoleon, had differing views on this topic. Today we delve into their philosophies. Let's journey into the minds of these two giants of military strategy, and explore their unique perspectives on the philosophy of war. Sun Tzu, a name synonymous with strategic warfare, had a unique perspective on the will to power. This ancient Chinese military strategist, author of the timeless treatise The Art of War, was known for his unconventional tactics and deep understanding of human nature. Sun Tzu's philosophy was built on the foundation of winning wars without actual combat. He held the belief that the best victories were those achieved without bloodshed. In his own words, "To fight and conquer in all your battles is not supreme excellence. Supreme excellence consists in breaking the enemy's resistance without fighting. It's not about the brute force, it's about the intelligent strategy, the tactical maneuver, the subtle art of manipulating the battlefield to your advantage." Another key aspect of Sun Tzu's philosophy was the importance of deception. He believed that all warfare was based on deception, the ability to mislead the enemy, to make them think you are weak when you are strong, far when you are near, is the cornerstone of Sun Tzu's strategy. He advocated for the use of spies, spreading disinformation, and creating illusions to confuse the enemy and gain an upper hand. Sun Tzu also placed a significant emphasis on intelligence and knowledge. He argued that understanding oneself and one's enemy is crucial for victory. If you know the enemy and know yourself, you need not fear the result of 100 battles. This wisdom transcends the battlefield and resonates even in our daily life, underscoring the importance of self-awareness and understanding others. In essence, Sun Tzu's philosophy of warfare was a game of mind over matter. It was about outsmarting the enemy rather than overpowering them. It was about winning the war before it even began, through careful planning, strategic deception, and profound understanding. Sun Tzu's philosophy of warfare focused on winning without fighting, a stark contrast to the philosophy of Napoleon Bonaparte. As we delve deeper into the philosophical analysis of the will to power in warfare, we'll find that different strategies reflect different visions of power, control, and victory. Napoleon Bonaparte, a man who carved his name into history with his military exploits, had a vastly different view on the will to power in warfare. Napoleon's philosophy of war was grounded in a few key principles that set him apart from his contemporaries and from the likes of Sun Tzu. He firmly believed in the importance of offensive action. For Napoleon, the best defense was a good offense. He understood that to sit back and wait for the enemy to make the first move was to surrender the initiative and lose the advantage. Instead, he advocated for striking first, striking hard, and maintaining the pressure. This ties into his second major belief, the concentration of force. Napoleon knew that spreading his forces thin over a wide area would only invite defeat in detail. So, he promoted the idea of concentrating his forces at the decisive point, the place where victory would have the greatest impact. This principle was evident in his military campaigns, where he often risked everything on one decisive battle. But what was this decisive point? According to Napoleon, it was not a geographical location, but rather a moment in time. He understood that in every battle there comes a moment when the smallest push can tip the scales in one's favor. Recognizing and seizing this moment was, to Napoleon, the key to victory. It's also worth noting that Napoleon's philosophy was not just about tactics and strategy, it was deeply intertwined with his personality and his belief in his destiny. He once said, "I see only one thing, namely the enemy, and I know only one color, which is the color of blood." This quote reveals a man who was fully committed to the pursuit of power and victory, regardless of the cost. In stark contrast to Sun Tzu, who saw war as an art to be mastered, Napoleon saw it as a game to be won. For him, war was not about balance and harmony, but about aggression and domination. Napoleon's philosophy highlighted the importance of offensive action and concentrated force, a stark contrast to Sun Tzu's philosophy. Sun Tzu and Napoleon, two great strategists with contrasting philosophies, provide us with a deep insight into the will to power in warfare. Diving into the depths of their philosophies, we see stark differences in their views on offensive action. Sun Tzu, the ancient Chinese military tactician, believed in the power of strategic positioning. For him, the best victories are the ones where battles are not fought. He argued for winning through cunning, strategy, and positioning rather than brute force. On the other hand, Napoleon Bonaparte, the French military genius, was the embodiment of the aggressive, offensive strategy. He valued the element of surprise and rapid action. His philosophy was one of direct engagement and relentless pursuit. Napoleon's campaigns were often characterized by swift and decisive victories achieved through overpowering the enemy. Deception, too, was viewed differently by these two strategists. Sun Tzu famously said, "All warfare is based on deception." He valued the use of misdirection, subterfuge, and guile to outmaneuver his enemies. Strategic deception was a key component of his warfare philosophy. Napoleon, while not averse to deception, was more inclined towards straightforward, audacious strategies. His use of deception was often to complement his aggressive tactics, not as a primary strategy. Napoleon's philosophy was rooted in the belief that audacity, speed, and decisiveness could overwhelm any enemy. Lastly, when it comes to the use of force, Sun Tzu was an advocate of minimalism. He believed in achieving victory with the least amount of force and bloodshed. The art of war emphasizes winning without fighting and conquering without destruction. In contrast, Napoleon was known for his grand battles and large-scale engagements. He believed in the use of overwhelming force to crush the enemy and secure victory. His philosophy was more about domination than preservation. Despite their differences, both Sun Tzu and Napoleon shaped the way we understand the will to power in warfare. Sun Tzu and Napoleon's philosophies offer us a window into the nuanced world of warfare strategy and the will to power. As we've journeyed together through the minds of these two strategic geniuses, we've seen the stark differences and surprising similarities in their philosophies. Each one of them has shaped the face of warfare, and their influences continue to reverberate even today. Sun Tzu, the ancient Chinese military strategist, emphasized the importance of knowledge, deception, and adaptability. He believed that winning a war was not just about the physical battle, but also about outwitting the enemy. His philosophy was rooted in Taoist principles, advocating for the path of least resistance. In his world, the best victory was one achieved without a fight. Knowledge of the enemy, the terrain, and one's own abilities was paramount. He taught us that warfare is a game of minds as much as it is of might. On the other hand, Napoleon Bonaparte, the French military and political leader, was a man of action. He believed in the power of decisive action, audacity, and the grand spectacle. His philosophy, deeply rooted in the Enlightenment ideals, prized direct confrontation and bold maneuvers. He demonstrated that a commander's personal will, charisma, and audacity could shape the course of a battle, and indeed history. He taught us that warfare is not just a game of minds, but also of hearts. Despite their differences, both Sun Tzu and Napoleon valued the importance of morale, logistics, and the element of surprise. They understood that warfare was not just about the clash of armies, but also about the manipulation of circumstances. Their philosophies remind us that the will to power is a multifaceted concept, involving both physical prowess and intellectual dexterity. Understanding these philosophies not only enlightens us about the past, but also provides insights into the present and future of warfare strategy. As we continue to navigate the complexities of power and conflict in our world, the wisdom of Sun Tzu and Napoleon remains as relevant as ever. As we draw our philosophical journey to a close, let's take a moment to reflect on the teachings of these two titans of military strategy. Sun Tzu's principles of knowledge, deception, and adaptability, and Napoleon's emphasis on decisive action, audacity, and grand spectacle have shaped the course of warfare throughout history. Their philosophies, though different in approach, converge on the understanding that warfare is a game of both minds and hearts. They remind us that the will to power is not just about physical prowess, but also intellectual dexterity. As we navigate the complexities of power and conflict in our world, their wisdom remains as relevant as ever. We hope you enjoyed this deep dive into the philosophies of Sun Tzu and Napoleon. If you found this video insightful, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to our channel for more. Stay tuned for our next video where we delve into other fascinating topics. Until then, keep questioning, keep learning, and keep exploring the vast landscape of ideas and philosophies that shape our world. Remember, knowledge is power, and understanding is the first step to mastery. Thank you for joining us on this journey.